get it.
Whew. All right, guys, welcome to Office Hours, Office Hours. Today, I got a very special guest in the building. We have DJ Money here. Now, Money, for those who aren't familiar with you and your background of your work, you've been in the industry for a long time. I know you go by DJ Money, but you're more than a DJ. You're a producer. You're a manager. You've worn many hats over the years. So just give the people a little background about yourself.
Yeah, DJ Money, A&R manager. I kind of do a lot of different things. Um, I manage a few artists, but also DJ for Wale for about 10 years. Mac Miller, Rocky Fresh, a lot of different people. But I also, produce as well. Money Long and Raheem Devon, Chris Brown, Wale, a lot of different stuff. So I'm happy to be here, man. Nala, you my sis. So, and also congratulations on the new job with Two Lost as well.
Thank
Mark,
you.
you
I'm
know what I'm
getting used to things, but I'm loving it. But okay, I know you're an excellent DJ. For those who
saying?
haven't heard you, you got to hear. He tried to actually get me to DJ after him, and I was just embarrassed at the thought of it. Like that is silly.
Come on, don't do
But
that. Don't do that. It was
it's
your
the truth.
party. We
It's
need you on. She's a phenomenal DJ.
look,
She's trying to bake. Trust me.
no, this is the truth. I'm like, no, there's no way. But I will say, as a producer, you produce some of my favorite R&B. Like I feel like
Appreciate
that.
that.
If I had to like pick your best bag, I love your R&B bag, and I kind of just
Appreciate
want to
that.
get into like, I guess, into your headspace when you are producing. So, what is like some of your inspirations when you're creating? Do you create dolo or is it like artists in mind?
I really don't. I'm not a person that makes a lot of beats, but I will say this: I'm a person that I like to. I come from like a soul era, so I like to really. I really want to make sure that like that feels through all the music that I make, no matter what type of music I make or whatever. Like I want to make sure that like you feel the soul in the music. It's not always solo. A lot of times I like to collab a lot of times I want the best record. But a lot of times the ideas that I come up with, I do start off, just coming up with stuff personalized for the artist. That's really how I try to produce myself personally.
Love that. There's a few people you didn't mention that you produced for Money Long on the Billboard chart last year, and
Time, time machine, time machine. Shout out to
Eric Bellinger as well.
yeah.
Um, So I guess when you are working with an artist, because it's not easy really giving people direction, like how do you go about leading, in that space?
In energy, I feel like energy is like the biggest thing. So like to me, in the sessions you want to make sure that everyone's comfortable so we can be the most vulnerable. Like to me, like that's the best music. Like so a lot of times there's a great singers, and sometimes some singers or songwriters aren't the best, but they can bring out the best subject or like feeling to
Mhm.
connect with people, with folks. So it's like that's really what I want to do in the studio. Like my biggest thing is make sure let's really craft something that folks can connect to. What's going on in your life? What's going on with your relationship? What's going on with whatever you got going? And let's build around that. Like let's really build around that. I feel like even with like money long, me and her when we first started working, I was just supposed to work with her for a day. And
Mm.
we vibed so well, we ended up working for like a week and we had a ton of records. But during that time, I think everyone came to her because they were so used to making hits with her and for her. They came to her kind of like trying to force a hit almost.
Mm.
So when me and her sat down, we more so just were like, yo, like what are you feeling right now? Like you really in a bag of what? So during that space too, she was really in like a rap kind of like swag bag. So during that time, that's why if you notice a lot of the on that record, she's really kind of just free flowing because that's just what she wanted to do. You know what I'm saying? So that's really something I really wanted to kind of like take place while I'm producing these songs.
Love that. So that takes the comfortability aspect.
Yeah,
That's like one level, but then like being able to be vulnerable with somebody is like another level.
absolutely.
Especially when it comes to the art. I know we're talking about producing, but when it comes to that, how do you get people comfortable with opening up? Uh,
Um, well, I mean, I can't really explain it. I'm just me, so it's like it's a. I feel
you
like it's
said
a,
I'm the vibe. People just like the vibe.
I am. I'm just me, but a lot of times I do try to clear rooms. I will try to find out what they like prior before I get there, so we can just be on the same page. Like with every person that you meet, there's something that you can connect to with them, like whether it be sports, whether it be artwork and stuff like that. Me and Eric, like we clown a lot. So a lot of times when we come into the stew, like we just clowning early and then we get to work. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying? So it just all depends on the person, the artist.
the
But
organic is
yeah,
like.
I try to be as much as me. If I can't be me, it's not gonna work regardless. So
Mm. Have you worked with somebody where like they weren't taking to your instructions or like your suggestions?
well, I think the biggest thing is, and a lot of folks don't realize this when you're producing, it's more of a service.
Mm,
So you gotta understand that, like, yes, of course, you know what I'm saying, you might have ways that you want to produce or like ways you feel like the song can make the best song or whatever, whatever. But it's all about building that trust. When you build the trust up, that's when the artist will be more keen to try to do stuff. Yeah, there's been plenty of times where there's artists that where I'm like, yo, I'm telling you, like this record might work, da da da. And either we place a record on someone else, or or we'll do something and we'll do something that they like, and I'll be like, yo, we did this with you like, let's try this as well and see what happens. And like there's always a way that you could do it and kind of customize how you can build with artists. All artists are different. All artists want their vision to be heard and seen. So your thing is, as the producer, is to service that, and figure that out.
yeah, that's a good point. I feel like some producers have, they take it personal too. They're not willing to be that fluid. So,
Yeah, I mean, we are all artists, right?
yeah.
But I think my how I like to produce, I've always been a person where I'm like, yo, you know what? Let's see what I can give you that you don't have, but at the same time, let's build something that we both can be proud of. Because if I do something that you don't like, you're not going to champion it, and then vice versa. That's how I feel. That's why another reason why a lot of placement that I got is just because we we love the record. What I'm saying? Not necessarily playing it for the label or whatever, and they necessarily love the song, but it's something that just we love. Like, what I'm saying, personally.
Yeah. No, I get that. Okay, now talk to me about the software that you use. I know some people love Pro Tools, some people love Fruity Loops. What is it that you use and why?
I'm a Logic guy,
Oh
but
my God.
yeah, I love Logic, but I use my MPC as well.
Oh
I
wow.
still have one of those. I got two of them, but I kind of use those in like congruent of like what I like. But Pro Tools is how I record, and that's really the first DAW I kind of learned. So that's why I like Logic, because it's kind of the same shortcuts and different stuff like that. So my workflow is fluent in that space. And I feel like too, and no disrespect to no one that use Fruity Loops, because it's a lot of hits there. But I feel like since a lot of folks use that same DAW, a lot of this stuff kind of sounds similar.
Yeah.
What I'm saying? Of course, like the drums are smacking on there, but the way I like to layer my drums and different stuff like that, and the fact that I collab with other producers, I like the fact that we can bring different sounds in, and it gives it a different feel. So I'm a Logic NPC guy personally.
Okay. I love that. And you said you started with Pro Tools though,
Yeah, Pro Tools was like the first DAW that I used, like when
and
I
then you
first
grew.
started, like because I used to like engineer a little bit off to the side as like a side hustle. So like, and don't get it twisted, like I'm cool, but I'm not gonna act like I'm a super fast like engineer. So please, artists, don't ask me to engineer. But I'll do it sometimes just out of necessity, just because sometimes you want to get stuff out, and the artist is one to work, and somebody might not be available. So I'm like, nah, I got it. I can cut you. Like, I let them know off top though. Like, listen, I don't want you to feel like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's not my daily job, but
Yeah.
we could definitely get it done for sure.
Makes sense. Okay. Are there any specific plugins or instrumentals that you would say is like essential to your production style?
Plugins. It's a good question because I like to actually try like a lot of new stuff, but like I don't know. It's not a bunch of plugins that is. I mean, EQ wise, regular like R6, like compression wise, SSL compressions. It's not anything that's like overly like I don't have any secret like plugins and stuff like that. But I mean, those are usually like the standard ones that I like to use. But I like to try different stuff too. Like I'm a guy that likes candy. So ear candy to me is like little stuff that you hear like behind the music that just kind of makes it feel different. Like I might have a 4 bar loop, but you'll hear little things throughout the music that'll like give you different energy. You know what I'm saying? So like to me, that's like the stuff that I try to find. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like most of the time, like the music that we love is usually simple. Like Dre is a very quote unquote simple producer, but the way that he puts it together and the way all the sounds layer and sound is what makes the magic.
Yes. Since you mentioned it, best producer.
Ever
Mm-hmm.
me? No, I'm just playing that. No, I can't. I mean,
Would
I
you give it to Dre? I feel like that's the one that everybody that goes
I
to.
mean, Drake's sound quality is top tier. Like, but I mean, I started producing because of Timbo. You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
And a Sean. So those two right there are very like the reason why I kind of do what I do, bounce and feeling. Songwriter wise, Stevie Wonder was like what I grew up listening to.
yes.
So really, those are like my goats of like my sonics, my sounds, or how I feel and listen to stuff. And even if you listen to a lot of the production with the soulful stuff, especially like the stuff that I do by myself, it always roots, like I said, itself in soul. So that's really what my how I want to move and how I want my sonics to sound. But best producer all time, man, it's hard to say because so many greats, so many different layers and stuff. But Timbaland is one of the reasons why I started producing.
I love that. Great answer. I'm getting on a tangent here and not following the questions that I wrote, but a follow up question to that is is the art of like I guess song structure because we don't always get a bridge anymore. We don't
Bring
always get a
bring
hook.
Bridges back.
Bring bridges back, but you be including bridges in the records you produce. So
Yeah.
I guess like how does that come about? Is it you like hey no are you still like a believer in that method or like what is that?
I'm not mad at song structure. I do appreciate the free flowing in the R like the R&B space. The R&B space is very like free flowing now. It's not as structured. I think Brian Michael Cox said this like a lot of folks we're missing the church in R&B, and I agree with that. Like because what it comes down to it is what it comes down to structure wise, you feel like you have to do those things, but you don't necessarily have to do them. But I do feel like how the song flows when it comes to just in general, like the beginning, middle, and end of the story needs to definitely be a part of the song structure in general.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah,
Beginning,
like
middle,
it doesn't
end.
always have to be like hook verse. Like Mirage is a great example of that with Alex Vaughn. It like that record, how that record's moved. You really listen to that. We really only do the hook really only twice, but like the verse structure is very like 8 bar, 12 bar. You know what I'm saying?
It breathes.
Like yeah, exactly. Like but she's telling a story the entire time, so it doesn't feel unflowy. You know what I'm saying? Brent is another example of doing that very well. Summer does that very well. Close Soul does that very well. You know what I'm saying? But I also think when it comes to connecting, that's just what we're used to. Money long. She does that very well, where she really connects. Like where it's like the structure is still there of hit records, but she's giving you the swag of now.
Yeah,
And to me,
I like it. I like it a lot. All right. So talk me through your typical beat making process from start to finish.
typical beat man. So I have to do a couple because I'm also a person where I deconstruct. So I'll hear something from other people. So like, in fact, I work with a lot of different producers, with artists and different stuff like that. So I hear beats and samples and different stuff all the time. One thing I do want to say, I feel like music is lacking before I get to the process, is the fact that I feel like I miss making music in the room. And what I mean by that is a lot of folks now are sending in samples and music of stuff from outside of the country and other places, and producers that never meet other producers, where we really have these, we're starting to have these issues in music, where that's why we're not getting the feeling that we used to feel, because all these artists and musicians used to be in one room. And I'm
Right.
not saying every session has to be like that, because of course, like, that's the point of doing this stuff. But I feel like if you really try to make music that connects, all the music that we love, that connects, that lasts, I feel like was all, a lot of times, was made together. So a lot of times with that, I one version of it is I might hear something that I really like a layer of, and I'll just ask the producer, like, yo, like, respectfully, I really like the layer of this. Can I take this part and kind of build around this part? Um, so I'll start with that. I'm also a drum second guy. I mean, I'm not necessarily a drums first guy, but that is definitely my forte. So I'll go in that route, go from there, and I try to keep it as simple as possible, because I'm a full song kind of producer. So a lot of times I would love to come up with an entire song if I could. I've been, you know what I'm saying, making more music recently without making songs, just to kind of like get into the habit of making music.
Wait, what do you mean?
I
What is
mean, so like, pretty much sometimes I'll make a beat, but I'll already have like a song in my head, or
it?
like someone I want to write on it, or something like that, or an idea for what the song could be about. And I'll be like, yo, let's just kind of like take it here. Let's take it here. So by the time the artist hears the record, it'll either have a hook on it, or a melody, or it'll at least be semi-structured, unless,
Halfway produced, yeah.
right, before I before I play the song. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like, let me think of one that was like halfway, like, done. More Love, Wale. When we
Mhm.
did that, Super Miles and um, I heard the sample, the flip. I restructured the drums and redid the drums, and brought in live musicians to finish it. So when I played it for Wale, we already had, it was structured. Like, you know what I'm saying? So all he had to do was kind of like sit in
Punch.
and
Yep.
just, so like, that was one of those things where that's what I try to do a lot of times. I feel like not only do you get an answer faster from artists, but also, you know what I'm saying, they get a chance to see what the final product will be. Some artists are not like that. They need a blank canvas, or close
Yeah.
to a blank canvas. But a lot of rappers and stuff like that, I feel like you need to give them a little bit of structure before everything finishes.
I feel like live instruments always bring a song just a whole new life in general.
Energy, absolutely. And a lot of times, dude, that's really what I really try to lean in on that. Like, when it
Yeah.
comes to like strings and piano chords and different stuff like that. Those are things that I really try to like stay on. To be honest.
Yeah. I love that. But to your point of like it used to be in studio. It used to be the live band in studio as well. You
That's a
know, singers
full
looping the
on
singers
student,
live.
full on. Like, they just in there, just vibing. And even like my favorite R&B album ever, and I know a lot of folks, Voodoo D'Angelo. I always say
Mm,
that's the album. And like, if the album I want to make, that's the album I want to make.
I love
But
that for
yeah,
you.
but if you hear the stories about that, Quest Love and them, they always say how they just did jam sessions. They were
Mm.
playing records that they loved, and then making variations of those records and different stuff like that. So to me, anytime that happens, Lauryn Hill for album, like all these classic albums that we love, I feel like a lot of times come from those spaces, especially in the R&B space.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's always better when you're having fun, right?
come on, man. Always,
Um,
I'm gonna stop making music when it's not fun.
oh, I
That's
was
it.
like, wait, huh? Oh, okay, okay. I
When
see.
it's not fun no more, that's when I'll stop making music for sure.
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah,
All right. So how do you go about selecting and designing the sounds for your beats? Like you said, you like these little nuances. You can have
yeah,
a loop, but you'll just have little knickknacks for say. How do
yeah.
you go about finding those?
Um, the
Or is
beat,
it kind of like
it's the
Timberland with the
DJ.
crying baby? Like you just hear something and it like morphs into something else in your brain.
Yeah, I feel like it's the DJ in like in me as
Okay,
well. So a lot of times I'll hear sounds or try different stuff. Like trust me, there's a lot of beats that I just have that they might be very good, but you'll never hear them because I feel like they're just too crazy. Like they're too off the wall. Shout to Aura too, like Keys, Chad, and Dad. Like those are my guys. Me and them. We've known each other for years,
good guys.
and we always like to try a lot of wild different stuff. Like you know what I'm saying. Even if you listen to their production as well, like you'll hear different bounces and new like different stuff that like is not normally in beats. Like you know what I'm saying. Like I feel like that's like a challenge, almost like I said too, Timberland. So I come from listening to him plastic cups, making them in like
Yeah.
beer bottles and hi hats and Ryan Leslie and different stuff like that. So I just try to find different sounds that can create a new feeling or a new sound. Now, of course, you have stuff that you use so folks can you know know it's you because I don't really use tags when I produce because I don't want to be known as like just as one guy. You know what I'm saying?
Don't do that. I was wondering,
Yeah,
you can still tag, man.
Nah, it's not that. Listen, I don't take away from it. And I feel like a lot of the records that use them, they're rightfully to use them. But Mustard, there's a reason why on certain records Mustard doesn't put his tag. There's a reason why certain records Metro doesn't put his tag. Just because you don't want to take away necessarily from the art or the record. Sometimes too, a lot of folks won't even believe that you did that song. So it's like it's
Mm.
almost like a subject a little bit too. To be honest with you.
So do you feel like the tag almost put you in a box in a way?
If you're doing one type of thing, like I feel like you're doing one type of thing. But again, all my favorite producers didn't have tags; they had a sound. So you know what I'm saying. Pharrell she technically has a tag because he does the four count, but it's Pharrell because of the sonics, not necessarily because he put something on there. And again, I have no issue with that. I love the drops. I think they're dope, especially on the trap records. I look forward to them, especially on the trap records.
Yeah,
I really want to hear them actually on
same.
that. But just for me and how I produce and the artist I produce for, me doing a record with Monica, I feel like it would be weird just hearing
Have
about
money today.
at the beginning of the song, like you know what I'm saying. So
It's interesting. That nuance is interesting. I had a conversation with Clark Kent before, and he was saying that like, yeah, I don't put tags on any of my records. That's he said he called it tacky actually, and I was like, dang, really?
part of the OG, I'm not gonna go over against him, but I'm not gonna call
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
I'm not gonna say tacky, but I definitely think that like there's a place for it. I feel like as much as we love mustard, there's a reason why it's not on Glued Up, right? You know what I'm saying?
I
Like,
agree.
yeah. So to me, like that's really where I'm at.
All right, makes sense. Okay, now talk to me about mixing and mastering process. How important is it to the how you gonna start nodding like
Cause it's so important, man, and I feel I
he's
feel
like
like
this is vital.
now listen, it's so important. So
Mhm.
I had no idea you was gonna ask me that. That's why I was like, woo.
Oh, I
But
came with questions.
I appreciate you. I
Huh?
appreciate you. But listen, guys. Listen, it's so important. And you gotta understand, I get it. Like we're really in a space where it's self sufficient. So now you have to you can mix it yourself, put it out, and it can go crazy. And there's a lot of records that I love that I don't feel like have the best mix. And no, I'm not gonna say which one's not, but
I
I
wasn't gonna ask, but I was gonna say some of the unmixed records,
yeah,
I like that about it. Like, oh,
no, of
this is
course.
really
It feels
raw.
raw, it feels authentic.
Yes,
I
yes,
get it. You know what I'm saying? But again, I grew all the people that I love
yes,
were
yes.
the Sonics people. So that's why I said this is a personal preference. Because there are records that I like right now, that videos that have come out last week that I know the mix that are terrible. And I'm like, I don't
Yeah.
even care. I like it. But to me, I'm big on that. I actually don't even I like when I produce records. I always have final mixing on the records because
Mm.
I need to hear the mix. Like Cali record we did with them, we I we didn't hold the record up, but it wasn't the mix wasn't right. So we pretty much had to go through a whole process to get that mix right before they put it. So mixing
So
and mastering kids are very important.
vital.
Please, please.
You didn't even let me finish the question. You was like, this
Because
should have been the first one.
because when you said it, because I don't get to talk about this stuff a lot when I and of course we speak, but I don't get to talk about this side of it. But the
Yeah,
biggest thing, like I said, like listen, kids, mixing and mastering is important. All your favorite songs are mixed to perfection most of the time. The
yeah.
reason why Chris Brown sounds so amazing is because his art mixed with Jason Joshua or whoever is mixing the record. So you know what I'm saying at the time. So these
Don't use Chris Brown as the example. Chris Brown just anything he touches just turns out.
But my point is, he's been doing that for so long. Even I've seen him like he makes sure that these mixes happen to all his songs.
Mm,
Like it doesn't matter. Like you're not a leak will never. You'll never hear a rough leak. Is what I'm saying. Like if a leak ever
true.
comes out, you
That's true.
it's always together.
That's
And,
true.
that's the thing. Like to me, mixing and mastering is super important. Now, of course, like I said, I'm not saying you can't have a hit not doing the mixing and mastering. But when it comes to my feeling of longevity and records that stand the test of time. These records are sonically, you know what I'm saying? Those are the reason why. And like I said, we can even go current. Like I said, I love how Brent mixes his records.
Mm.
Um, Money Long, of course, that's my sis. Um, Kaylani,
Mm,
like, you know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
Even the sequence of her latest album, Crash, was phenomenal.
And Anderson Pack, no worries. That mix that tape. I don't know if y'all heard that the way that sonically sounds, shot knowledge,
Knowledge. Yeah.
knowledge is crazy, but like that, those mixes are the things that to me make stuff stand out and stand the test because you hear it different. And going back to Dre, the reason why people say Dre is the best producer, one of the best producers ever. Now, on again, just because of production, is because of how it sounds when you listen to it.
Yeah.
2001, when it first came out, and he starts with it, he was the dopey thing, and then goes into first track, everything's knocking. You know what I'm saying? Kendrick is another one. How his mixes are, like, like there's a lot of folks that really care. The folks that care about the music usually care about the mixes. I'll say that.
Yeah. I agree with that 100%. It's almost like it makes it cinematic.
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
it goes from like something like a catchy jingle to like a movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
How many times have you heard an artist and it felt authentic because the mixes weren't great? They might got a deal or something like that. And the next thing you know, you hear the album, you're like, whoa, this feels different.
This is different. Yeah.
And it's really because of that. I'll tell you another person that's like that and subtly that does it is Ice Spice. Her mixes are her mixes a lot of times are very good. Like
Mm,
when it comes to the type of music that she makes, you know what I'm saying? Like they make
yeah.
sure that those mixes are very good.
Makes sense. Okay, let's talk about producer trends because
Yeah,
there's different sounds per different areas and just I mean even sampling at one point in time it was like everybody was sampling whatever the case may be. Do
yeah.
you ever feel pressured to follow some of these trends or do you look at it, it seems like you would look at it as a challenge that you were talking about with the bells and whistles.
Yeah, I think there's always a new way that you can flip a trend. Like sexy drill right now is going crazy. And I'm sure there's a kid somewhere that then found a new way to put it with reggae or something like this. There's always a way that you can flip a trend. But like I said, me personally, I just always try to keep it whatever I do in soul, whether it be the jersey, the sexy drill, whatever it is. If that's the vibe that you want, we're gonna find a way to make it meet in you. That to me is the ultimate goal. I don't want to sound like no one else. I want you to know that it's what you. That's what it is.
Word. Yeah, no, I love that. And um how do you tailor the beat to be you?
Um, that's a good question. Actually, how do I tailor the beat to be me? I feel like personally, if you really go back and pay attention to any of the production I have, the drums have a certain pocket, the bounce has a certain feel that eventually, like you'll understand. Yeah, I'm not gonna say there's anything particular, but it's definitely the feel. It's definitely the bounce.
Yeah. It's definitely all a feeling.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and even when I tell you stuff that I did, I feel like once I tell you I did it, you'll listen to it and be like, oh, okay, yeah,
That makes sense.
this
Yeah.
makes sense. This
Um
makes, and also too, I like tempo. I like tempo. I like bounce. A lot of stuff that I do, especially now recently. So
and honestly, we need that because I feel like people this lo-fi movement, though I love lo-fi and I listen to it while I'm working, I don't want that in every aspect of my music, you know?
listen, the world is crazy. You want to release. You want to listen.
Yes.
You want something that connects with releases. You know, so I think that was we don't have those a lot of these records of like I feel like certain artists used to make songs that they talked about quote unquote sad sub like subjects, but the music wasn't sad, if that makes sense.
Like Runaway Love with Mary and Ludacris.
There you go. You
Like
know,
production was up
it was
and
up, but they were talking about something that was very real. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. Yeah.
Uh Love is Blind, E, like a
Love is Blind, yes.
very serious record, but it gave you energy, gave you vibe when you listen to it. What would you do? City High. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
yeah. You could get that off at the club, honestly. You can't.
You know, so just stuff like that. You got to think about it, like to me. You know, so even yeah, just to me, like that is a space that we definitely miss. And I get it, like the emotional different stuff that we want. So a lot of people connect to the more vibey kind of like stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, bring back tempo.
Yeah. Bring back I blame Drake. I
Blame
blame
Drake,
Drake. Yeah.
not yet.
What you mean not? Oh yeah, no, I blame Ye. I blame Ye, but these new kids be like, no, I want to be open and honest like Drake. I don't think they even referencing Ye,
Nah, I
but
feel. Yeah.
Drake
He made it more.
definitely with that tree.
To me, Drake, he took the drums away so you could really hear what he's saying. A lot
Like
of times,
Marvin's Room,
oh yeah,
that was the turning point. We ain't looked
not
back.
that.
Every emo guy has came forward and thrived since then.
That's a fact. But the reason why we love that song is because we can hear him. Because he's like, let's get these drums out. So,
Yeah, dang. You know, what? I'm actually curious on how that session went down. But okay. So what are some challenges that you face in beat making?
um, if in this day and age, if I get a sample and somebody said one person did it, and then I find out four people did it while we placed the record, that's always a challenge. That's a
Man.
challenge. Yeah. What else is another challenge? And my thing is like I'm one of those folks. Listen, we can. I'm always a beat spit guy. That's just me. So I really don't care. Like, let's get the record done out because if it's a hit, we all gonna talk. Okay, so other than that, to me, challenges of production. Um, like I spoke about, getting artists in the room and wanting to really craft that sound. I think people are so used to being by themselves and different stuff like that, which is fine, which I get. You know what I'm saying? You gotta create how you create. But again, I feel like all the best music that we love comes from a place of connectivity and collaboration and like in the space. You know, of course, if you're finishing a record, it's or
Yeah.
you bring that person in and sing something to them, of course. But when it comes to the actual incubation of the record and starting the record, I feel like that is needed. That personal touch is needed. I feel like personally. Those are the only two barriers that I feel like are really in the production space. And also too, I really don't have this problem, but I see the problem happen. I feel like there's always one person forever in the room that has a motive that kind of takes away from the
Mhm.
creation. So like maybe if somebody just wants to put their man on, some label person is trying to make sure that everything that the producer that they just signed gets the looks and da. I'm always looking for the best song. However, Alex Vaughn, of course, is my artist. But if you go on her project, you'll notice I didn't do everything on there because I mean that not only would that be selfish, but one, let's have the best music. Like
Yeah,
whoever we need, let's have the best music.
I love that. Yes, and what would you say are some things that keep you like growing as a producer?
Oh man, the youth, man, just to hear new sounds and to see how they take stuff that I've heard and make it different. You know,
Are
um,
you loving that? Are you loving that, or sometimes you be over it? Because
of course, there's listen, man, there's more fruit in every batch that you get back.
yeah, for sure.
But I think if you really try to find the gems, and you know me, I'm looking for the stars, regardless. So you find those gems and just really pay attention to those gems. You know, you can really get inspired with a lot of. So there's a lot of dope producers, remixers out here that nobody knows. You know what I'm saying? That you can really tap into and just even hearing someone something that you might not have thought of can inspire something. Like, to me, that's like the biggest thing. I try to listen to everything. You know what I'm saying? I know we have a lot of music come out every Friday, so much music, too much music. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, it kind of gives you a chance to really tap into a lot of different genres and, and genre bending producers and stuff like that. Like there's so many artists I've just seen on stage, and, like you know, on ESPs and stuff like that. I just like this cover. You know what I'm saying? Let me see who's good. Let me go down the rabbit hole of this producer and just hear certain stuff. And sometimes you'll see like an off kill project. That's something that come on. And you'll hear music that be like, yo, I heard this. You know, I told folks I was telling them I was working on this music for this app about 4 or 5 years ago for Brazilian funk. And it was like this before the wave came. And to me it was like that was such a new thing for me. I was just happy to be part of it. But it was also a challenge because I was like, okay, now I gotta kinda like figure out a way to like create this stuff. You know what I'm saying? To figure out how we can kinda make this a thing. So that's the biggest thing to me, finding the new sounds, the inspiration, and keeping that going.
Makes sense. Makes sense. I feel like you have a really good look or outlook on it. Some people be discouraged, not understanding, or you know.
I mean, listen, creativity is one of those things where it's always going to be a challenge and a balance. You try to keep your creativity and also inspire, right? So, so to me, like I said, I told you, like when it's not fun for me making music, that's when I stop. And again, like I tell folks, I do produce, and I'm a producer every sense of the word because I put together records. I challenge artists. I complete the songs. I make sure that they all the way through. I help clear sample. These are full on producing things I feel like from how I view producers that I love. And what it comes down to is I want to make sure that the music the music that is being made is a reflection of me. That's the biggest thing for me.
Yes, because it's art as it
Yeah,
should be.
it should be.
Okay, so what advice would you have to give to aspiring producers?
Oh, and the last thing too before I say speak this as well. I don't make beats every single day. That's what I'm not one of
Mm,
these every single day. I only make music when I'm inspired to make. So there's months where I'm just spinning, and there's months that I'll just stop spinning and I'm just cooking. You know what I'm saying? Like right now I'm in a space where I've been really creative, so I've been making a lot of music. So that's really where I'm at. That's why I said we doing these things. I'm back outside. I'm in a really good space. But what I would
Wait,
say,
the last time you were in one of those dry spells, what brought you back?
um, music is always is the passion. It's just about where you place. Like I feel like it's just where you're at mentally, where you place it, right? So it's like for me, I'm lucky enough to be able to have different ways of where it comes from, where I can watch other artists and just kind of get inspired in that space,
Yeah.
or I can go to a club and play new songs and new sounds, and see how folks react to it there. I'm blessed to travel, so though all these things kind of like inspire me. I'm saying I just try to find different ways to be inspired. Or another way, of course, I go back to I always go back to the classics. You know what I'm saying? Go back to stuff I haven't listened to in a long, long time. Um, whether it be some of my music, friends' music that I know, because we all know we order music as creatives, but we order creativity different. Like let's keep it a buck. We don't always give out what we create. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So that's really how I get myself inspired. But also the biggest thing is I just don't force it. So
Word.
I
That's
don't
good
feel
right there. Yeah.
I don't force it. So there's been plenty of times I've been fun of you trying to force it and I don't feel like oh, let me just step away. Then once I do come back it's a
That's fair. I like it. I feel like we gotta apply that to everything in life. Don't force it.
don't force it. That's a fact.
Um, but all right. So what advice would you give to aspiring producers out there?
Um advice I would get, I mean, don't force it. I just that would be my advice. I think the biggest thing that you can do is make sure you're doing it out of love, not doing it as a lick. You know what I'm saying?
Man,
You know what I'm saying? Do it out of love, not a lick. Like 'cause I feel like that's why the space feels crowded. A lot of people see it as a lick. Like,
that needs to be a shirt or something. Love, not a lick.
it's a fact. You know what I'm saying? It's a fact. Make the shirt out of it.
All right,
Crochet
all
the shirt.
right. I'm on it. I'm on it.
But yeah, I feel like that is the best. That to me is the best. If you yeah, do out. That's how I move. That's why we see. We all get frustrated in the business, right? But it doesn't necessarily have to kill your passion for what you.
Yeah, it'd be hard to
They
not
try. Not,
let.
not tripping. It's tough. I'm not saying it's not tough,
Yes,
but do not let it kill your passion. If music is your passion, then remember that is why that you're doing this.
that's
Like
your why.
that's your why. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like so for me, like always say, music is the beat. I'm just blessed to do different ways in the music. You know what I'm saying? Whether it be radio, club, traveling, touring, whatever.
Are there any communities or like online newsletters or resources that you like to tap into, for producing specifically?
Oh, for producing, it's
It's okay if there's not. I'm just
not, not crazy. Not
okay.
crazy. I mean, I like this platform. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
lots of great mad
Yeah,
gems.
front office vibes, you know what I'm saying? But other than that, I don't really have a lot of platforms that I feel like it's more so the repost the other producers that send other producers. You know what I do? Like I love like drummer pages. I love like pages of
Mm,
drummers. I love there's this bass page I follow. It's like one man bass or something like that. I follow. They just show all like different bass lines and stuff like that.
nice.
But other than that, like it's really just like just send me stuff. Word of mouth.
Got
That's
it.
the best newsletter ever.
Not the best newsletter ever. Okay. And then my last question is
Certified vibe too. Certified vibe. That's
yes, make sure you guys tap in. Certified by newsletter and Two Lost newsletter. They both drop weekly. But okay, my last question is tell me a story or tell me a story of the favorite beat that you produced. I know you have a crazy catalog, but like, what was one where just like the energy was right, the mood was right, and it just came to life?
Something sweet. I think something sweet. I think it's because I got muscled out of
Huh?
it. So Phil called me, and I was actually I feel like I was on the way to see you up top. I think I was coming up top, but I was on the train working on it, and he called me for something, and I said, "Yo, I'm working on something. You really like this?" I was listening to a lot of foreign exchange, and I heard the sample,
Yo,
and
I miss foreign exchange.
I love foreign exchange. I was listening to a lot of it, so I took this flip, and I flipped it, and I really liked it, and I was like, "Yo, like, I think I'm gonna put this out. Like, I just like this. It feels good." Da, 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 da. So I sent it to our dad, and he was like, "Yeah, nah, this is mine." I said, What you talking about?" Like, me. He's like, "No, just give me like a day or two." But I said, "Bro, I'm gonna put. I just want to put this out. Like, I don't really want the thing. I just want to put it out." So he's like, "Yo, just give me like a day or two." And by the time I come back home, he sent the record back. So he at the time he was on Epic working on his second project. So we do that record, and the way it feels, so we should get Fat Man Scoop to give it that feel. So I hit Scoop, he gets on the song, and that's just a song that no matter where I'm at, no matter how I'm spinning, whether they know it or not, when I play it, it works. So to me, that's probably like one of my favorite things that I created, and just because of how it came about, how it worked with a friend of mine, how the fact that like we did this record, I don't know, 4 years ago now. I just played it last night. You know what I'm saying? And it still works because it's that tempo, it's
Yep.
that feel. You know what I'm saying? It feels like summertime. So yeah, that to me is probably, if not my favorite ever, that I think definitely top three.
What? I'm gonna have to add that one to my Serato. What?
Come on, man, something sweet right
I
now.
need
Just,
records like that are cheat codes.
yeah, nah, it's a party starter for sure.
Something sweet by all day.
Yeah,
Love it. All right. Well, Money, for those who aren't familiar with you or don't already follow you, where can they follow you and where can they keep up with everything that you got going on?
at DJ Money on Instagram, no DJ No Party on Instagram. I've been a little active more on Twitter. I feel like that's my wrestling Twitter now, but same thing all the way around at DJ Money. So just get at me.
All right. Thank you for joining us for a conversation. Make sure you guys, if you guys haven't already, make sure you guys follow Two Lost. Make sure you guys come back next week for another office hours conversation. I'm Nyla Simone. Talk soon.
Appreciate
Thank
that.
you, Money.
You already know. Thank you.
Don't hang
Follow
up.